Lassiez, Halito, Saval, what's up? What's up, everybody? We count down, baby. We count down. Welcome to Flambeau Fridays, Defy Fridays, Fridays, Fire Fridays. We count down. It's almost LundiGras. Monday is LundiGras. And Tuesday is Fat fucking Tuesday. All right. We are celebrating our ancestors' rich, spiritual, powerful, fiery, spicy culture, spirituality, and culture, baby. Giving shout out to the great mother, that melanated mother. Happy NegroIndian Heritage Month. We celebrating over here. We celebrating over here. So, yes, I have the great mother, the great matriarch. Yes, that melanated Madonna, the brown Madonna, the dark brown Madonna to the light brown Madonna. Yes, they give her the misnomer Black Madonna, but she brown and pretty. And then we got them diasporic powers. What y'all know about them diasporic powers? That spicy pot of gumbo, Creoles of color. That's a misnomer, yes, but it just means indigenous people of the darker hue. That copper tone shit. That fiery shit. Alright? That original battery. We are the source. We are the descendants of the source. We are the battery pack that fuels the fucking world, the universe. They always try to copy, duplicate, imitate our culture. All right? Our culture is throughout every culture. Go back to the origins of every continent. You will find dark-skinned indigenous peoples. Facts. Fucking facts. We celebrating. Flambeau Fridays up in this. Alright, Flambeau Fridays. Alright. Yes, I'm still doing my indigenous readings, my Creole NegroIndian readings, spiritual sessions, life path sessions with the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. Don't be scared of voodoo. It's just the spiritual forces of nature. It's just the Holy Spirit in many forms, right? Yes, we got that. And yes, we got the Toltec Oracle. If you want your indigenous astrology, yes, I do it all. It is based on my ancestors' spirituality and culture. So if you get one of my readings or my sessions, that's what the fuck it is. I come from the Native Spirit deck. Yes, I got some for the Day of the Ancestors, the Day of the Dead, Fekete. I got that Sancta Muerte. Yeah, I got that. I got all that good, powerful shit. From voodoo to hoodoo to Corandismo, all of that shit. We celebrating. It ain't a fucking game. It's a celebration. Hey, how y'all doing? Peace to everybody in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in for this Flambeau Fridays, Fire Fridays, Defy Fridays, Fur Fridays. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. All right. Y'all got some rum. Y'all got some tequila. Y'all got something to get that sacred inebriation or to pour them libations to our ancestors. Yes, we must do that. Because my ancestors, they got their libations off top. So, yes, we are entering the portal. Matter of fact, from January 6th, 7th, we've been tapping in to the portal of Carnival MardiGras season from the Americas to the diaspora. All right, from the southeastern states, especially Louisiana, to Haiti, Haiti, and other Caribbean islands of the diaspora. We represent that Creole, Creoles, Mestizo, Indios culture, Melungeon, Redbone culture. We represent all that shit. So thank y'all for journeying with me today. I'm feeling real festive. How y'all feeling? I don't gotta say throw me some, mister, because I got my own shit. Okay? So yes, we represent. We breaking down her story, the history. So we're gonna get into it today. Carnival Indians, MardiGras Indians. This is my honor and respect to the Carnival MardiGras Indian culture. It's my respect, my ode to that, because we must give respect. That's what it's about, right? So I'm representing. This is one of my headpieces that I've worn in pictures. It's actually on my thumbnail. My big baby, that's a showcase in my living room. She just a showcase piece. That big baby with the feathers. But we got him. He represents during Mardi Gras Carnival time and Fête Dia de los Muertos. So he represents. He got all the beads, baby. You ain't got to throw him shit because he got his fucking own, baby. Yes. So I represent. Y'all representing. All right. I'm on fire today. I always have a fire brewing. My sacred fire. Don't go the fuck out. Don't let nobody put your fire out. Keep it the fuck lit. Whether you can be silent and your fire is still lit. You can be on point, observant, and in that spiritual knowing about shit and handling your business. You don't gotta be loud all the fucking time. It's a time to be loud. It's a time to be cool. It's a time to be silent. All right? It's all about balance. Balance is the key to the universe. So we're going to be breaking down some shit today. Just giving honor and respect. Basically, giving honor and respect because we on the precipice of Lundi Gras Monday, the Monday before Fat Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras Shrove Tuesday. We went over the sugarcane plantations, the sugar fields, and what our ancestors did there. They had Creole plantation houses and they had the Anglo plantation houses. All right. Our ancestors had plantations too. Our ancestors. We had our own land before it was a fucking such thing as a plantation. Our ancestors did. I'm a descendant. So I be repping like that's my shit because it is, because it's my ancestor shit. So we broke down that. We broke down the sugarcane plantations and what that means. Our ancestors was doing hard fucking labor to get you your sugar, your molasses, your fucking rum that you drink and you pour libations and shit. Yeah. They was putting in work. All right. So we give them honor and respect. They was getting 3rd-degree burns. They was getting heat exhaustion working them sugarcane plantations, especially when the colonizers came in and wanted to like do manufacturing mass amounts of the shit, right? So shout out to all my relations out there, from the darkest to the lightest of skin tones. It's that one drop of blood, that one drop of Indian blood, baby. So I'm kind of on one today because we on the precipice, y'all. How y'all feeling in the chat? How y'all fucking feeling? How y'all feeling? Because I'm feeling good. I'm representing. Y'all got y'all shot glasses ready because I got my shot glass ready. Y'all can't see it, but I got a little shot glass on here. Yes, I ain't taking no shots out of that. I got my own little cup. I got 2 cups. I'm representing, baby. Yep. How y'all feeling? We're going to get into the material in a minute. I'm representing the ancestors. All right. I'm representing. How y'all feeling? Talk to me. I talk back. I talk back. So if y'all want to, have y'all regalia on, y'all want to have even a mask on, the masquerade style. If y'all want to do that shit, represent. Y'all got y'all feathers. Feathers up, baby. Feathers the fuck up. All right, y'all. All right, I'm going to take a sip. It's for the ancestors. And myself, libations. The mother culture of us all. The melanated of all shades. The mother culture bloodline of us all 7 continents. Shout out to the great mother and her children, her descendants, and that diasporic power. Them 7 diasporic powers. What y'all know about that shit? That voodoo, that hoodoo, that corindismo, that umbanda, all that good shit. Yeah. Our ancestors are the author of this shit. They got the masters to this shit. Okay? So we're going to get into some shit. We're going to get into some shit today. I'm just representing, showing honor and respect to the Carnival MardiGras Indian culture. I am. So, here we go. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get to it. Peace to everybody in the chat. Wado Yakoki, Shona Bischi. Merci beaucoup. Gracias. Thank you for tuning in and just rocking with me. I appreciate. Let me get this ready and pulled up. I got it. All right. So, Mardi Gras, Louisiana style Mardi Gras came to Americas, they say, in 1699. With the French explorer of Iberville, Mardi Gras was celebrated in Paris, France, since the Middle Ages. But peep my playlist of Flambeau Fridays, because we broke down how they was doing it in Venice, but our indigenous ancestors was already doing ceremony and festivals from the fucking beginning, from the fucking origins. Our ancestors was doing ceremony and festivals. All right. So these other people joined in later. All right. So you have the Gulf of the Americas, or as my could say, the Choctaw Gulf. All right. Shout out to Lulu and Chatupa. All right. And so they say, they talking about March 3rd in 1699 in Iberville. They set up camp on the Mississippi River. This was the day Mardi Gras was being celebrated in Paris. In honor of this day, Iberville named the site Point du Mardi Gras. Iberville's French influence is still seen at the present Mardi Gras. Many of our Mardi Gras terms are French Creole. Some example are the lundi gras, the Monday, the day before Mardi Gras Eve, shit. And then Mardi Gras. Oof. All right. So, but check out my previous installments on my Flambeau Fridays playlist because we break down the origins of Carnival and Mardi Gras, Trinidad and Tobago and the diaspora. And then you have Mobile, Alabama. And then you have New Orleans, Louisiana. Everybody does it up. I've only experienced New Orleans, Louisiana Mardi Gras, and just Louisiana Mardi Gras, from the southern part of Louisiana to the northern part of Louisiana. I have experienced that myself firsthand. All right. On my bucket list is Mobile, Alabama, and Trinidad and Tobago and the diaspora. I broke down how they do it in Trinidad and Tobago, how they do it in the Caribbean islands, the diaspora, how they celebrate Carnival, Camboulet, where they did celebrate the harvest of the sugar cane. All right, it was the harvest. They celebrated it, and they did like the sugar cane. It was Camboulet. All right. So our ancestors celebrated our rich culture. All right. These are just examples of floats. They got the dark-skinned indigenous people represented, as y'all can see. All right, Mardi Gras Indians. Let me put on my glasses, and we're gonna visit the Backstreet Museum too. We're gonna visit the history. All right. It talks about the Mardi Gras Indians emerged in the late 1800s, playing the diasporic, they say misnomer, Afro-Caribbean rhythms. All right. Diasporic, indigenous Negro Indian rhythms, and wearing regalia made of beads. Their regalia was molded after American and diasporic ceremonial dress. I'm correcting the shit as I'm reading. So if you don't like it, get the fuck on. If you can rock with it, cool. What's up? All right. The men dance through the streets in regalia inspired by traditional clothing of Negro Indians in the Americas and in the diaspora. Traditionally, the music is played with congas, tambourines, and belled wrist and ankle bands. All right. They have their crews, and they are not imaginary. Let's get this fucking straight right now. They have the bloodline of indigenous tribes. So they do represent their tribes. Some are more representative of the diasporic indigenous tribes, and some are more representative of the American Indian tribes, but it's in their bloodline. Let's get that fucking straight. This is just something that I shared a while back, and so I'm going to fucking break it down for y'all. They got crews, all right? They have the various ones. They do name some of the Wild Chalupas, Yellow Pocahontas, Creole Wild West is the oldest tribe. The Creoles of color, all shades, is just a mixture of indigenous tribes, French, and Spanish. You also have other cultures mixed in there too. Mardi Gras Indian traditions have evolved into a friendly competition of elaborate regalia wearing where they compete. Carnival has become an opportunity for the Indians to compare each other's art and craftsmanship. When two different parading Indian tribes meet, they be second lining and parading. All right, my nose sweats, so if y'all see me do this, my nose sweats. That means I'm mean. That's what my daddy say. But all right, so they do the second line. They have their parades. All right, they have their greetings of song and ceremonial dance. All right, some of the Indians, they do ride floats, but A lot of the Indians don't ride floats. Okay? They don't have established routes. They go with the flow of the spirit, the flow of the ancestors, right? They parade through the neighborhoods of the Treme or the Treme, the historical neighborhoods, marching the back streets of New Orleans on foot, baby. All right, these are just shout out to them. Carnival. All right. Carnival comes from the Italian word, and we talked about Carnival in Venice. Check out my playlist because I broke down this history. We're doing a recap. All right. Carnival meaning goodbye to the flesh, because we are celebrating. We going hard, celebrating. We eating good. We drinking good. We are being merry, and so we are embracing our earthly vessels, our flesh, while we on this earth realm. Yes, we are spiritual beings because I said indigenous peoples from the darkest melanin to the lightest melanin. We are the battery pack. We are the source to the shit, right? So we do embrace our earthly suits, our skin suits, right? We do embrace this life here on earth too. All right. They celebrate both. It says on the same day in France. They put on regalia and put makeup on, eat lots of nice food. These are like, just the all right, we got this one. Okay. It says, where did all the fun come from? This is what they say. Let me just tell you, we had our shit. Our indigenous ancestors had their ceremonial and festival practices, spirituality, and culture. These other people came in, like I said, the colonizers did insert their shit in. So we're going to get to the inserting of shit, right? So it says Mardi Gras began long before the Europeans came to the New World. Every mid-February, even those Romans celebrated Lupercalia with the wolves. What they know about the wolves, but the great Waya spirit. Our ancestors was celebrating animal spirits way before these colonizers came. But peep game. This was a festival similar to Mardi Gras. When Christianity came into the Roman Empire, Carnival was accepted. They accepted our shit. Remember, they tried to imitate our shit, take our shit, and then say, oh, y'all can't participate in the shit. But our ancestors was the originators of the shit. Okay? So, all right. So they had fun before the Catholic tradition of Lent. This is pre-Lent. Check my previous installments. We talked about pre-Lent and then now during Lent. All right. Lent didn't used to be a part of the fucking equation. Okay. So Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is always the Wednesday after Mardi Gras. Lent lasts 40 days. You fast from something for 40 days, beginning on Wednesday and ending on Ishtar Sunday. These 40 days are a time of prayer and fasting. At this time, the Catholics are not to eat meat. All right. Carnival comes from the Latin word carne, which means farewell to meat or shedding of flesh. Catholics partied and feasted during Carnival season. All right. They adopted our ancestors' culture. All right. They adopted it, right? And it says before it was time to fast, they celebrated, they feasted, right? The Catholic influence is still seen with the large Biof or Bof Gras that is present every year in the Crew of Rex. Blah, blah, blah. The Bogra is an ancient symbol of the fattened cow eaten on Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras before Lent. The ancient symbol traces all the way back to France in 1512. Each Mardi Gras color has a meaning. right? Gold is power because our ancestors was full of power. They are still full of power. Green is the faith, and purple is justice. All right. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Justice. Yeah, I always highlight justice because I'm a Libra. All right. All right. So these are just, different things that we celebrate. Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day. The name Shrove comes from the old word shrive, which means to confess. In the Middle Ages, people used to confess their sins. Sin was also, look up sin, the origin of sin. It's actually a deity named Sin, just so y'all know. Shh, don't say I didn't tell you. It's a deity called Sin. That's where that comes from. But anyway, all right, so they say that they confess their sins so that they may be forgiven before the season of Lent begins. So you party and kick it, and then you repent and you do it all over again. It's the cycles of fucking life, all right? But our ancestors did it in balance. They act like our ancestors didn't have structure and balance. They learned from our ancestors. They got the blueprint from our ancestors. What are you saying? Okay. So they took their last opportunity to eat up all the rich foods prohibited during Lent. All eggs, butter, fat remaining in the house were made into pancakes, hence festival usual nickname of Pancake Day. In the UK, Shrove Tuesday is also known as Pancake Day because it is the day of the year when almost everybody eats pancakes. Blah, blah, blah. Right here. Right here. We get into the real shit. Honor and respect to the Carnival MardiGras Indians. Honor and respect. Yes, honor and respect. I gotta give honor and respect. This is me on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. And then I got one in the Trimmy with Carnival Indians. I forgot his name. Shout out to him, honor and respect. This one was actually on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter in Louisiana, New Orleans. All right, this is me and our relations, our distant relations. All right, this is me at the Backstreet Cultural Museum, which we will visit their website because we give an honor and respect, and they show the utmost respect to the Carnival MardiGras Indian culture. MardiGras Indian regalia, jazz funerals, memorabilia, second line, mementos, photograph exhibit, a powerhouse of knowledge, the gateway to the Trimmy. Yes, I was there. All right. Yes, this one, this regalia was so bad. Oh, it had the eagle, the great eagle, Uwahali, the great eagle spirit. Yes, I was feeling that. Yes, it was beautiful. Somebody made that. This was somebody's regalia in 2010. So they do donate. Some of them do donate their regalia to the Backstreet Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was beautiful. All right, this is me with there is a crew that represents the bones, the skull, the bones of the ancestors. And I forgot their name. It's something with bones. Somebody will correct me. But I love that because it represents the ancestors. And then Mardi Gras Indians. Let's read this real quick. Mardi Gras Indians are one of the true cultural splendors in the Crescent City. Following emancipation, New Orleans Negro Indian misnomer African Americans began suiting up in regalia of their ancestors at Mardi Gras. This practice has been prohibited during slavery. Many chose to honor their indigenous ancestors by creating feather hair dresses, regalia, and the tradition of the Indian or Indian suit began. But it was already from the beginning, right? New Orleans Indian tribes, they are American Indians, okay? All right. Negro American Indians, Negro Indians, dark skinned Indians, right? Not necessarily Mongoloid Native Americans, but some do have the bloodline of Mongoloid Native Americans, okay? Closed groups of the Negro Indian men parade in elaborate regalia of feathers and beads that they make themselves handmade. These groups are called Indians because their names refer to American Indian tribes and American Indian elements, including feathers, beads, motifs appear in their regalia. They say masking Indian really is just them putting on regalia of their ancestors. All right. As it is called, okay? It was influenced by the stories of escaped prisoners of war, sometimes slaves or indentured servants, being sheltered by American Indian tribes, by the Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, which wintered in New Orleans in 1884. There are also clear indications of indigenous diasporic devices. All right. They have Caribbean diasporic influences. Peep the previous ones. I talk about uh, the Caribbean indigenous tribes that came into Louisiana, especially after the Haitian Revolution. A lot of Haitians are from Tainos to Caribs and the various indigenous people that were on the island of Saint Domingue. Okay. All right. They did come into the port of Orleans, right? All right. It says that the influences in beading and other decorative devices, making an Indian regalia. It is a year-long task because they sew and make that shit from hand. Shout out to my mother because my mother is a master seamstress. So I've watched my mama craft some shit from hand and with a sewing machine. So this is saying that they do this all year long. They work on putting their regalia together, making it by hand. It has so much power when they make it from hand, right? All right, so it involves creativity and expenditure of considerable time and money. Members of tribes have assigned roles and rank, including spy boy, flag boy, wild man, medicine man, chief, and big chief. Tribes may also have a queen. All right, if they balance, they have a fucking queen. All right. The music that accompanies the Mardi Gras or the Carnival Indians gathering is a potent blend of pre-Civil War folk songs, classic New Orleans music, and the latest rap and hip hop. Indian chants and songs using English and Creole patois recall the traditions of each tribe, and also referred to the past that sometimes included fights between rival groups. The Dixie Cups. His song Iko Iko Ande was popularized of Mardi Gras Indian chant. It was a popularization of a Mardi Gras Indian chant, Carnival Indian chant. Although their regalia can be extremely heavy and cumbersome, there are ritual dances when Spy Boy, Flag Boy meets Flag Boy, and two big chiefs face off in ritual battle over who has the more spectacular Indian regalia. Some tribes use only percussion instruments, tambourines, cowbells, drums, and scrap metal, while several have combined their chants and drumming with contemporary instrumental accompaniment and enjoyed commercial recording success. So some of them got uh actual recordings that's like on Spotify, YouTube, all that. Yeah, I've heard it here on my channel because I have been playing it in the background. The ones that YouTube let me use for like my short videos, etc. All right. So this is just, a depiction of me in the NOLA representing. This is at the said Marie Laveau's shrine gravesite. Okay. The great voodoo priestess, the great voodoo goddess. They say queen, but the great voodoo goddess Empress Marie Laveau. Some will say she's an archetype of feminine energy that's tapping into that voodoo, that hoodoo, all that corindismo, all of that gumbo pot of spirituality and culture. So yes, I was at her shrine in the St. Louis Cemetery in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was representing, I was tapping into the energy, potent energy in that cemetery. For real. For real, for real. Yes, this is her tomb, her shrine. All right, this was me on the French Quarter. All right, this was me in a Carnival Mardi Gras Indian. Me at Backstreet Cultural Museum. All right, y'all saw this. Me by the regalia, etc. And then St. Joseph's Day. We're going to read about St. Joseph's Day. They also have Super Sunday. I'm getting down there for Super Sunday so I can experience that shit, and I'm gonna have mad footage of that shit. Okay, St. Joseph's Day. The Indian St. Joseph Night celebration is another cross-cultural tradition that illustrates the Indians' long understanding of the interconnectedness with others. The celebration of St. Joseph's Day was a custom originally brought to New Orleans by Sicilian immigrants. New Orleans is a pot of gumbo, y'all. All right, where you get the melungeons. Some of y'all got melungeon in y'all blood like I do. It's a whole mixture of shit, right? So, all right, immigrants as an act of devotion to Saint Joseph, the patron saint of families, working people, social justice, and the church. Around the same time, the American spiritualist movement, them spiritualist churches, them churches that had power back in the day, the ones that had them revivals where they was wearing all white and you went to the water and you was getting healed. That's that real shit. I don't know what the fuck going on now, but that was that real shit. Okay. All right. It had a mixture of indigenous cultures from the Americas to the diaspora, flowing through those churches and revivals, okay, in those spiritualist churches, right? Around the same time, okay, we had the American spiritualist movement, noted for the beliefs regarding the existence of ancestral spirits, was gaining popularity. But we already was venerating and respecting and honoring our ancestors. Our ancestors was, right. I'm doing it to this day too. But it's saying that it became popular. Other people start honoring and respecting their ancestor spirits, all right? And it was also associating itself with social movements such as female suffrage and the abolition of slavery. New Orleans spiritual churches that honored the legendary Black Hawk. Y'all know about Chief Black Hawk. He was from the Sac and Fox tribe, all right? Somebody's ancestor, right? I try to call up on my immediate ancestors first, and then ones that I resonate, they come after, all right? So they do call upon Black Hawk, but because he was a war chief. He handled fucking business. So they called on him in the time of need, right? So he was a patron spirit of social justice. If you want justice fucking serve, you can call on Black Hawk. First, you want to honor and respect him first. If you have an altar or you have something for Black Hawk, you want to, for your ancestors or any energies, you want to give them the stuff that they like first. You want to show honor and respect first before you start asking for some shit, before you start asking for help, right? Okay. So, and they also honored Saint Joseph because our ancestors did adopt Catholicism, and they use that as the forefront. All right, but they represented the ancestors, the Loas, the Orishas, the Caboclos, the Indian spirits in their home space. But on the outside, you was looking at, they had the candles of saints and shit, right? But they was representing and honoring or respecting the real ancestors and spirits in private, right? So it says also they honored St. Joseph for similar reasons. In addition to St. Joseph's Day tradition of constructing altars, because we put altars up for our ancestors and our spirit guides with food, drink, etc. To keep famine away and at bay. It was a tradition known as tupa tupa or knock knock. During this ritual, children put on regalia, or to use New Orleans jargon, they also masked. In full regalia, the children knocked on the doors of the neighbors in the symbolic gesture of seeking refuge. The ritual so closely mirrored to indentured enslaved Indians, because it was Indian slavery, and then they named it African slavery. But it was really Indian slavery and diasporic slavery, indentured servitude, prisoners of war, all right? Because a lot of them fought back, like them badass Maroons. All right, I got to give a shout out to them. So they would do this, the children would do this, as a ritual, right? To honor the ancestors that did this before. All right. They will seek refuge among their American Indian tribes, right? It made the Sicilian tradition as easily integrated ritual into the culture of NegroIndians. They say misnomer Black Indians. All right. Moreover, it offered an opportunity for the various communities to gather together in common celebration of the shared values of understanding and compassion. Peace, peace, peace. Love you, Cuzzy Bear. Peace, George. My Cuzzy Bear in the building. Lou 2 times. All right, let's get back to the lecture at hand. I just saw the comments, but I just had to show y'all. Oh, let me go here. Show some more. All right, this is Fire in the Hole, the spirit work of Fayaya and the Mandingo warriors. So the Americas is represented and the diaspora is represented. This is me in front of, there's Black Hawk. So they got a Black Hawk statue on the shrine in the Backstreet Museum in the Trimmy, the historic Trimmy. All right. Yes, they got that. They have a lot of regalia, from the more indigenous American regalia to the diasporic regalia, with the cowrie shells that represent money, etc. All right. You also have the brass bands in New Orleans jazz. All right. You have that good fire music, from jazz to blues, to zydeco, salsa. All of it has Negro Indian roots. All right. So they had military brass bands came to New Orleans, but they already had bands, right? But they joined in with indigenous Negro Indians and learned to read music and to play instruments. They adopted church hymns and moved away from military styles. At the end of the 1900s, the Onward and Excelsior bands were prominent. In the dirge style heard today at jazz funerals, with the second line and the jazz funerals was developed. Jazz emerged in the early 20th century, and the formal reading style gave way to more rhythmic and improvised style of playing. Reliance on Henry Allen brass bands played at funerals and second line parades and at sporting events and fundraisers for social aid and pleasure clubs. New bands such as Tuxedo, established in 1915, and Eureka, established 1920, attracted future jazz stars like Louis Armstrong, who played with Tuxedo in 1922. All right. You got the brass band activity decreased during the Depression. It hurt the popularity of radio and records, and affected by the decline of the SAPCs, as standard insurance policies became available for Negro Indian Americans. By 1970s, the tradition was almost extinct. Danny Barker, a prominent New Orleans musician, and Reverend Andrew Darby recognized the problem, and they recruited young musicians to form the Fairview Baptist Church Christian Band. The Hurricane Brass Band grew out of the Fairview Band, and it gave birth to the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, which has spawned numerous groups, including Pinstripe, Tuba Fats, Chosen Few, Trimmy, and Rebirth. Today, scores the New Orleans young musicians are part of a resurgent brass band tradition, mindful of the past while exploring contemporary styles including rhythm and blues, reggae, modern jazz, and hip hop. Okay. Let's see. I read that about the jazz funerals, I believe. Okay, no, let's read this. The jazz funerals. The jazz funerals. All right, because this is about showing respect to the ancestors and the loved ones that have transitioned, showing respect to the quote unquote dead, but the transitioned. The jazz funeral is perhaps the best known and the least understood of New Orleans traditions. The actual funeral for the deceased takes place within a church or funeral home and follows the conventional funeral service for the denomination. The jazz aspects begin outside after the service when the body is taken to the cemetery for burial. En route to the graveyard, the casket is escorted by a traditional brass band that plays somber, slow tempo dirges, all right, riffs of music, right? All the songs played in this phase are religious or they are spiritual numbers such as "O Rugged Cross" or "Just a Closer Walk with Thee" that are often heard in church services and at gospel music performances. The mourners often walk in a slow, stylized dirge step, all right? And the demeanor of the musicians and the second line of people who follow them is appropriately somber, subdued, and respectful. At the graveside, the band plays one last devotional song. After the burial service, however, when the deceased has been cut loose, free, all right, the band strikes an up tempo number. This may be spiritual, religious, such as When the Saints Go Marching In, or secular and slightly irreverent, such as Didn't He Ramble, breaking into a party atmosphere. The second line parade that follows may wind for miles through the city streets. All right, every phase of jazz funeral ritual, emotional cycles that accompany your loved one, grief and mourning, final goodbyes, acceptance, and affirmation that life goes on. Okay, it reflects the continuing influence of Negro Indian culture, Creole of color culture, Negro Indian culture, and spiritual religious concepts. All right, in Negro Indian communities. Let's see. Yes. So shout out to my peoples. All right. And I've shown this before. This is me at Marie Laveau, the voodoo empress goddess, they say, misnomer queen, one of her houses, right? This is me there soaking up that energy. All right. Marie Laveau and her children lived at this site between 1839 and 1895 before circa 1905 construction of the existing cottage. This is at 1022 Rue Saint Anne. Okay. And this is me at Pat O'Brien's getting some of them good old hurricanes. This is me in the hood. This is me in the Trimmy with a Carnival MardiGras Indian representing. We got that tobacco and those sacred herbs popping. All right, sending that smoke into the atmosphere for great spirit and the ancestors. All right, he represents. Shout out to him. I don't remember his name, but shout out to him. He was cool as fuck. Now this was a couple of years ago. He was like, he said some jargon to me, but he was like, "You cold? You walking in the trimmy by yourself?" And he just basically he was just walking with me and talking and everything. We took some pictures. He was cool as fuck. And shout out to him. This was me at Pat O'Brien's getting some shrimp and grits. This is the kind of grits that they make that look like toast, but we know we had the other version too, the more
Mardi
authentic.
Gras Indian culture and tradition, baby.
This is
This
me in
is the
front
chief
of
of
Chief
chiefs, baby.
Tootie
Chief
Montana's
Montana from the Mardi Gras Indians.
statue.
He fought for the Mardi Gras Indian tradition to stay alive. It is a mixture of the American Indian, the African, the French, the Spanish, this Aboriginal, indigenous culture, all in a pot of gumbo. That Creole culture, and they represented the Mardi Gras Indians. Yeah,
He pretty,
fuck it.
ain't he?
He cold, baby. Mardi Gras Indians, the chief of chiefs, baby. Chief Tootie, Big Chief Tootie, Montana. Ellison, Big Chief Tootie, Montana. Live from Congo Square. Live from Congo Square, baby, at Louis Armstrong Park. Louis Armstrong, y'all know,
In New Orleans,
American Jazz.
Louisiana. So yeah, I was there. I was I was happy. I was soaking up the culture. I was loving it. All right. So shout out to uh the patriarch that paved the way for the Carnival MardiGras Indians to represent they shit. Give a shout out to him. Pour some libations. Yes, representing. I love it. I love it. I love that they give honor and respect to him. True, true, true. Facts, facts, fucking facts. Yep, Congo Square was a place where the Homa Indians, all right, indigenous tribes, dark skinned indigenous tribes, misnomer Creole peoples, they had a mixture of indigenous and French and Spanish and other cultures. They gathered at Congo Square to celebrate their ceremonies, their rituals, etc. It was a lot of drumming and dancing and spiritual practicing going on. And I was tapping into that energy. It was a lot of uh ravens and crows there, the Guga and the Gula Knife spirit there. Some big trees that got a lot of ancestral history. And I tapped into that shit when I was there. It's powerful energy. Honor and respect to the ancestors. Congo Square, baby. Let's see if I can read this shit. All right, Congo Square is in the vicinity of a spot which the Homa Indians used before the arrival of the French for celebrating their annual corn harvest. All right, you have the green corn and the ripe corn harvests. All right. All right. They did this annually and it was considered sacred ground. So when you go on Congo Square, it's sacred ground. Really, the whole fucking America's diaspora is sacred ground because our ancestors were absorbed into the earth. And then is the cycle of life is birth, life, death, rebirth, resurrection. It's the circle of life. It continues, it continues, it continues, right? So, this was the gathering of vendors and indentured servants, prisoners of war, enslaved Negro Indian vendors in Congo Square, originated as early as the late 1740s during Louisiana's French colonial period. Remember, the Spanish and the French was going back and forth about this area, right? But it didn't even fucking belong to them. It belonged to the Negro Indian tribes there, right? All right, so they had vendors in public markets. By 1803, Congo Square had become famous for the gatherings of indentured servants, prisoners of war, who drummed They danced, they sang songs, they traded on Sunday afternoons. By 1819, these gatherings numbered as many as 500 to 600 people. Among the most famous dances were the Bambula, the Kalinda, and the Congo. These Negro Indian cultural expressions gradually developed into Mardi Gras Indian traditions, Carnival Indian traditions, the second line, and eventually New Orleans jazz and rhythm and blues. Right?
I'm here at Congo Square, where our ancestors,
I
the
just
Creole
read this.
ancestors that
I
had
just read
here
it, but
at this
um
certain time. So
this ain't
we
the video
salute.
where I was filming. I was filming the Raven and the Crows activity because I'm a spiritualist. I'm a Creole indigenous spiritualist. So our ancestors looked at the behavior of animals. You want to pay attention to the behavior of animals and birds because they will alert you of different dangers and catastrophes, etc. They will warn you before that shit happens. So you want to pay attention to their behavior. But when I was there, I was noticing a lot of spiritual activity there. A lot. So this is me at Louis Armstrong Park, where Congo Square is, and the statue of Big Chief Tootie, Montana, the great Carnival MardiGras Indian. This is me on Bourbon Street. Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. It's me in Enola. All right. By St. Augustine Church. All right. When New Orleans was the capital of Spanish Providence. All right. Of Louisiana. Plaza de Armas. New Orleans. Yep. Bourbon Street at the fucking Absinthe House. So if y'all check out my playlist for Flambeau Fridays, Defy Fridays, Pho Fridays, you will see I do break down absinthe and what it is made of. It is made from the hoodoo tradition, actually. And a little bit of the Wiccans, they borrowed some shit because absinthe has wormwood, green anise, and other liqueurs. So it's nicknamed the Green Fairy. It's some potent shit, and you're supposed to let it age. The wormwood will cleanse you of parasites, and you get fucked up at the same time. So this is in front of the Absinthe House on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. And so I just was, just soaking it up. I've been here numerous times, but I soaked it up a couple years ago. All right. I was soaking it up. Does anybody have any questions or comments in the chat? Let's see. Y'all quiet. Okay. So this takes me back to this. So the Carnival and Mardi Gras Indians did do and put on, they made, created, and put on and represented regalia of ancient ancestors from the Americas, whether that is North, Central, or South America. All right. You see, these are Carnival Mardi Gras Indians of Louisiana. And then you have the ones of Mexico. Actually, Central and South America, not just Mexico, because you have, yes, the She, the Tamaloncan, the Olmec, the Itza Maya. You have all of these different, the Yucatan Maya. you have all of these different tribes that did travel up into southern United States of America. So whoever did this, they did put them all together like I would put them together. And I do have a deck that does have these codices for these pre-Mardi Gras Carnival Indian regalia suits, because a lot of them are patterned after our ancient Mayan ancestors. Okay. And you see these dark indigenous peoples right here representing, right? And this is a depiction of life and death. All right. This is Mayan, a Mayan codex hieroglyph. My cards that I use for your indigenous astrology have the codexes. The codexes, the hieroglyphs of astrology, of indigenous astrology. So if you get an indigenous astrology reading from me, I use those cards and some other things. All right. So our ancestors was representing beautiful, beautiful, beautiful culture. And I especially love this one because you see, he heavy melanated. Ain't no fucking mistaking this shit. And that ain't fucking paint. Because motherfuckers try to say, oh, that's ceremonial paint, bitch. No, that's skin tone. All shades from the darkest brown to darkest brown to the lightest brown. So, yes. So, I've been to the land of the Maya. So, I've been to the land of the Maya and Louisiana. That sacred, holy place. Okay? Represent. I'm just showing some pictures. Shout out to them. Respect. Honor and respect. Honor and respect. All right? Honor and respect. And this was in St. Louis. Because St. Louis, I live in Missouri, the Midwest. So in St. Louis, they do fucking love Mardi Gras time down. They love it down. They have ceremonies and parades and all kind of shit going on during Mardi Gras. And this was at one of the Urban League or something. They had a Mardi Gras Indian suit there. And I was there representing a couple of years ago when I was helping somebody and getting paid for me running shit. All right. But this is me representing during Mardi Gras Carnival season. So, y'all got any questions, comments, etc.? Anything that y'all have to say? Yeah, anything, comments, questions, etc. So this is me for real in my regalia, represent Carnival Mardi Gras culture. This is me in all places, representing. So anybody got any comments, questions, anything? Let me know. Let me check out the chat. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. I've been on here maybe an hour and 10 minutes. I appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking with me. Just chilling with me. Because Monday is Lundi Gras. Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. That's the end. But it doesn't end. It's just a pause. It's just a pause. It's just a pause. All right. And then We do it again during Day of the Dead time. Fet Gede. Dia de los Muertos time. We do it again. So get y'all shit. Represent y'all shit. Represent your ancestors. Represent. If you want those spiritual readings, spiritual sessions, a life path session where I just give you raw shit about your past, present, and possible future, depending on you and what the fuck you do, the decisions that you fucking make. All right. Or your indigenous astrology. I tap into that. So I'm just representing that purple, gold, and green. I'm representing. Yes. I'm representing. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling in the chat? I appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with me. Yes, I have indigenous oracle decks that I work with. Yes, I do. I have Creole indigenous because I am a Creole indigenous spiritualist. Creoles, mestizo, melungeon, maroon, all the derivatives, Estelucy, etc. Creole indigenous spiritualist. I use the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I do a little bit of hoodoo, voodoo, currendismo, all that shit. So, y'all can hit me up. My shit is in the description. All of my social medias, my website, my YouTube, my store, etc. Hit me up. Y'all. Hit me up. Let me look at the chat real quick. Y'all doing all right? Let me see what y'all doing. Are y'all quiet today? I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Are y'all quiet today? I appreciate you.
And those that will tune in later, I appreciate y'all. Represent your bloodline, represent your shit. Because your ancestors been waiting on a person like you to stand the fuck up, to be a true G and represent and take your ancestors' spirituality and culture to the next level. Your ancestors been waiting on you. What the fuck you waiting on? Represent, take your shit to the next level. Make the great mother proud. Make her proud. I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes. Take a little intermission. See what's up with y'all. See what's going on with y'all. I'm representing. It's countdown to LundiGras, MardiGras. Carnival. It's countdown, baby. Countdown. Let's see. I don't even know why I did that. But anyway. All right, let's visit this. This is the official Backstreet Cultural Museum. And let me pull up my disclaimer because I showed this in respect, honor and respect, and for educational purposes only, for research and scholarship only. Let me pull up my fucking disclaimer because I don't want no shit. Don't fuck with me. All right, let's see. All right, I'm pulling up my disclaimer and seeing what y'all talking about in the chat. All right, my disclaimer right here. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for the fair use of purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, education, or personal use. Tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay. So, let's see. Let me check out the chat. I hope y'all doing all right tonight. I'm celebrating. I've had my share of the parades and kicking it on the NOLA streets. On my bucket list is to go to the fucking Caribbean, to Trinidad and Tobago, and experience Carnival. And even here in the Americas, to go to Mobile, Alabama, another home of Carnival MardiGras, and to go to Florida because they go hard on Carnival. They go hard. So those are on my bucket list. Who with me? Who with me? Who with me? I'm sweating. So if y'all see me doing this, my nose sweats. My daddy say, cause I'm mean. But yeah, you got them old elders. They say if your nose sweats, you mean. So yeah, and I be having hot flashes cause I'm grown. And I done had a little mixture here. My ancestors, they already got their libations. Did y'all put some on y'all altar? Did y'all put some libations on your altar? Because I did. My ancestors, they good. My ancestors and spirit guides, they good. Did y'all give them some food? I've been cooking up some Creole cuisine and shit. They done had jambalaya with shrimp and chicken and chicken sausage. And I even made some with some pork because some of them like pork. They done had rum, they done had gin, they done had vodka, they done had tequila, they done had a little bit of everything. They done had a little bit of everything. Yep, I done cooked up all that shit, but guess what? That was leading up to the shit. So I'm gonna just show some shit of what I've been doing leading up to Mardi Gras Carnival time. I'm gonna just share that with y'all real quick. I got the ceremonial cigars representing the tree of life, the fleur de lis. The Tamuankin, the Great Maya, they also recognize the symbol. All right, so let me go here. I'm gonna share just some stuff to reminisce with y'all because this is approaching the fucking finale to Mardi Gras Carnival. So let's see. Bam. Y'all doing all right? Cause I'm doing all right. I'm doing good right about now. All right, let me pull this up. I'm gonna just share. So I've been representing. Wow, okay. I've been representing. Let's see. All right, I'm share this. All right. Trinidad and Tobago, shout out to them. Shout out to Mobile, Alabama, and to New Orleans, Louisiana. All of those are homes of Carnival MardiGras. Check out my Flambeau Fridays playlist. I break down all the her story, the history, the heritage of Creole culture. That is a mixed pot of gumbo of Negro indigenous peoples from the Americas to the diaspora. Check out my playlist. Flambeau Fridays, that shit fire. If you love her story, history, heritage of our people, Creoles of color, all shades, from the darkest brown to the lightest brown. All right, we go by these misnomers of Creole, Creolos, Indios, Mestizo, Maroons, Melungeons, Red Bones, Metis, Sambos. It's an array of misnomers that describe our people because we are a spicy gumbo pot that they always try to imitate, but they can't fucking duplicate that shit. Yeah, that spicy gumbo shit, that big pot of culture. We the battery. We are descendants of the original peoples. Anybody that got melanin and you from the Americas or the diaspora, stand the fuck up, represent, shout out your ancestors, pour out some rum. They was on them sugar cane plantations, tending to them sugar. Sio Halito,
Okay.
Sava, what's up? Have y'all been enjoying Mardi Gras Carnival season?
I do have a part two
I
to
have.
that.
We are counting.
But we did break down the part about the sugar cane plantations. We did break that shit down. We did break that shit down. We did represent and break that shit down. So let's see. All right, let's go back here. So when you go to my page, yes, we're live right now, but let's go to my playlist. Flambeau Fridays, Defy Fridays, Pho Fridays. That means Fire Fridays. Some fucking fire shit going on. You have Creoles of Color. I did this, and I even Fridays. So y'all, the history of the different caste systems, how they called us, because your mama was this, your daddy was this, so you had this name, that name. Excuse me, all the misnomers of the caste system. So I did this in honor to my maternal grandmother, Rio, and I did honor my mother, my maternal Caddo Creole Indian culture, jambalaya recipes, etc. Creoles of color from the darkest brown to the fucking lightest brown, the cold Noir, etc. All right, so we had that going. We got that. All right, let me just see if it would let me just pull up the playlist. Sisters. All right, so this is the one I did on the Creoles of Color. Gender Couleur Libres. Creoles of Color. All Creoles are not high yellow. They are from the darkest brown to the lightest brown. There are different mixtures of Creole peoples, Creole or Creolos, mestizos, Melungeon, mulattoes, maroons, etc. Right? Indios people. So you have that. And then I broke down the green fairy, where you make the wormwood, the green anise, and some other liqueurs. It
cleanses you and purifies you of parasites. You might want to drink some absinthe on Ash Wednesday, okay? And cleanse from all the partying and the feasting, all right? Just a tip. That's a hoodoo tip, okay? Then I broke down that whole sugarcane plantations, the sugarcane fields, etc. All right, sugar, where sugar comes from, molasses, rum, etc. What our ancestors did to make that for us. All right, I broke down that from the Creole plantations to the Anglo plantations, the different terminology, etc. I break that down. All right, and then we have the origins of Mardi Gras Carnival from indigenous cultures in the Americas to the diaspora. Our ancestors have been doing ceremony, ritual, and festival even before the colonizers. All right. So it talks about the journey of that. All right. The origins of it. You have the diaspora, Trinidad and Tobago, heavy on the carnival, Camboulet. All right. The burning of the sugar cane after the sugar cane harvest. All right. They had sugar cane plantations in Louisiana, Haiti, Haiti, Dominican Republic, which was that whole area was called Saint Domingue. All right, Saint Domingo, Santa Domingo. All right, the whole diaspora, etc. Sugar cane fields and sugar cane plantations. Our ancestors did own some plantations, and some of them didn't. Some people worked the plantation fields of the sugar cane, and some people owned it. All right. So I break down the origins from Trinidad and Tobago to Mobile, Alabama, and then New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, Louisiana puts Mardi Gras Carnival on the fucking map, like in a major fucking way, because I fucking love it there. I fucking love it there. But Mobile predates the New Orleans, Louisiana Mardi Gras Carnival. But the diaspora, Trinidad, Tobago, predates that. But at the end of the day, our indigenous cultures, our spirituality and culture of our ancestor, they were doing ceremonies and festivals and rituals before all of this shit. So that trumps all this shit. And then I did at the Haitian Haiti Haitian Revolution. And after the Haitian Revolution, a lot of them came to the port of Orleans into Louisiana and mixed in with the people there. So we have a rich culture. All right. If your parents are from Louisiana or your ancestors are from Louisiana, it's a rich fucking culture. Creoles of color, all shades. That's just what that means. Indians of all color. All right. And then we have um, tap into honor and respect to my mother, my matriarch for northwestern Louisiana and eastern Texas. All right, with the Caddo Creoles, from the Red River Creoles, Cane River Creoles, to the Caddo Creoles and tribes. I spoke on how my family still has land that was passed down from their ancestors. It is cattle land, cattle Hadacho land, land, a died cattle land that has been passed down and passed down and passed down. All right. So I do share some of my maternal her story heritage. All right. Dealing with the Creole culture, Creole indigenous culture of Louisiana. It is relevant because it's Mardi Gras Carnival time. So this is what I've been up to. If y'all haven't checked it out, get updated on all the installments of my Flambeau Dife FEU Fridays. I appreciate y'all. So I'm about to close this. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Does anybody have any last minute comments, questions, etc.? Let me know. Because I'm about to close out. I appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy Carnival MardiGras season. Monday is Lundi Gras, the night before Mardi Gras Eve. And then Tuesday is the last day to go the fuck all out and celebrate. With food, festival, drink, culture, spirituality, knowledge of the ancestors, history, her story, etc. To go all out. And then you want to purify. So you might want to get you some absinthe or make you some absinthe at home. We're going to make some absinthe together. All right. Make our own. Because it's just wormwood, green anise, fennel, and some other herbs and some high-powered grain alcohol to make some absinthe. You age it and age it and age it, but it cleanses and purifies you. That is truly sacred inebriation. Sacred inebriation is taking in the spirits of the liqueur to cleanse yourself and to get a spiritual high and journey somewhere. Have visions and dreams and revelations and shit, right? You can do that off of absinthe, rum, pulque, which is like a precursor to tequila and mezcal. Sacred inebriation. Tap into your ancestors now. Y'all, I'm out. Peace. Peace, 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 peace. I'm gonna just share my store, my services, and I'm out, y'all. I'm out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Wado Yakoki Shonobischi. Merci beaucoup. Gracias. Thank you. Y'all want them spiritual sessions, spiritual readings, astrology readings, indigenous? Get at me. So I'm pulling that up. I'm advertising and I'm out. I'm out. So here is my store. If you want to support, I have the Oracle collection. I do have a Shopify. It's a whole bunch of little red tape with the fucking Shopify, but I had planned to have my Shopify up and fucking running. But it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But this is what I had planned to have on sale for my Shopify. A logo, a design that I created to represent Creole, Creoles, American, NegroIndian culture on shirts, mugs, and handbags. So this is the new, and then this is the steady. All right, we got the steady with the oracle design and the honoring the matriarch. So I got merch, my spiritual readings sessions. If you want some of those, you can go to my link tree, which is here. My link tree. The description it's in the description. So to my link tree, my website, my store is all there. All right. Indigenous, Creole spiritualists. My website, my YouTube, etc. My website, you can go to contact, and you can contact me and get a life path session or indigenous astrology reading. Okay. So let's go to the contact page, and this is how y'all can, contact me. My PayPal or my Cash App. You can give a suggested love gift offering. This is supposed to be 99 or $199. $77 is just a suggested for 3 cards. So you can tap in if you like. I appreciate you all for your support, your love, etc. I really appreciate y'all for rocking with me. So I think I'm going to close on that note. I think I did advertise everything that I was supposed to advertise. I did show y'all about the Backstreet Museum because this was about honor and respect to the MardiGras Indians, the Carnival Indians. So make sure when y'all in New Orleans, y'all need to hit them up. Book a second line tour. All that. Plan your fucking visit. Go represent. Go support. All right. They got all that. It's a $25 for adults, $20 for students, 12 to 16, $15, ages 6 to 12, $10, ages up to 5, they free. You can have groups of 4 to 40. They want you to come and experience that culture, that indigenous culture. So shout out to them because I did go there and I did experience it myself. And it was fucking awesome. So I did. So you can too. I love y'all. Ashayo. Wado Yakoki. Shona Bishi. Merci beaucoup. Gracias. Thank you. Peace, 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 peace. I'm out. My playlist is on my YouTube channel. All you gotta do is go to my YouTube channel, which is here. Raven, Red Tail Hawk, Jaguar, She, that is XI. And then you click on playlist, and then it shows you the different playlists. You want to click Flambeau Fridays, Defy for Fridays, Fire Fridays. You want to click on that, Cattle Creole, and it will show you the playlist. And this is the first live video, and then you have all the other ones over here to the side, and you can just click play all and listen to all of them. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. I'm out. Peace, 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 peace.